Hi guys, I'm your host, artist of anime, also known as N7 Karu, and
점점 커지는 빛 빨라지는 drum 현란한 조명빛에 반짝이는 mirror ball 시끄러운 무드 위 춤추는 그녀.
hey guys, I'm your host N7 Karu, and welcome to another edition of the Rant Show. Sorry, trying to get comfortable. This time around, I am going to be talking about conventions, mainly, anime and comic conventions. I'm sure everyone watching this video has at least been to one in their life. And one thing that I've always seen come up with, especially on, on YouTube, how people like myself do vlogs of conventions and stuff. A lot of the comments I see on there, and a lot of comments I see on famous cosplayers' pics when they post them up on Facebook and stuff. A lot of comments I see is just pretty much one long big discussion that is normally the 2, 3, or 4 people that are commenting on whatever it is are having, and the conversation gets to the point to where they say, to where at least one of them say that they think that conventions like Otakon and Zenkai-Con and Katsu-Con and Dragon-Con and San Diego Comic-Con and conventions like that they need to have an age restriction. And a lot of the times, the reason why this conversation gets brought up is because if it's like, I don't know, if it's if one of the famous cosplayers posts up a picture of the cosplay, sometimes it's, they're barely clothed. So that's one reason why that conversation gets brought up. Or if it's con vlog, it's just because, probably someone's swearing in the background, or just something that's going on in the con vlog itself. And the conversation between 2 or 3 or however many people gets brought up, and at one point, well, at least one person says that there should be an age restriction limit to cons. And this is actually what I wanted to talk about in this episode of the Rant Show, because unlike these people that say this, I don't believe there should be. Listen, conventions are for all ages to enjoy, from the little 4-year-old dressed up as Link to the 55-year-old walking around in an Appa outfit from The Last Airbender. It's for all to enjoy. Yes, there are going to be some cosplayers walking around in scantily clad clothing. Keep in mind, mind you, 9 times out of 10, this isn't the cosplayer's fault. Technically. I'll put technically there, alright? I'll put technically. It isn't technically their fault. They're just simply cosplaying as their favorite character from their favorite anime or comic or manga or whatever have you. And the way the character is drawn, they barely have any clothing on. That's just their outfit. It's not the cosplayer's fault. They like their character, that's the outfit they have, so that's the outfit they wear when they cosplay them. So like I said, technically it's not their fault. The one thing you have to realize, especially people who bring up this conversation and say there should be an age restriction limit because of that reason, because of people walking around with sometimes barely next to no clothes on, or they're, almost popping out. There's one thing you have to realize. No matter which con you go to, no matter which con you're at, you're going to run into this one way or another. If it's a new convention that's being brought up, or if it's a convention that's been around a while, you are going to run into it regardless. This is just something, in my opinion, you are going to have to, what's the word I'm looking for? This is the one that, this is something you're just going to have to come to expect when you go to a con, I guess is the word. And for those, and the same thing goes for those who, the reason why they say there should be an age restriction limit for cons, because the way certain people behave during a con, like swearing, so on and so forth, or maybe even some of the panels that it's held in a con. Meanwhile, it says on the convention schedule, 18 plus. So, maybe somebody who's 18 plus shouldn't try to go into the panel. But for the reason of people with the way people are talking and stuff around the convention, this is just also one thing you're going to have to accept when you go to a con. There are kids that are 5 and under who like anime and comics sometimes just as much as we do. I remember when I was at Zenkai Con, when I was walking around as Nightwing, I wish I would have had my camera on when this happened, but I was in the artist alley at Zenkai Con, and this one guy walked past me. This little kid, the kid was no more than 5-6 years old, and he pointed up to, well, not even 5, but he pointed up to him and said, "Hey, look! I think the kid's name was John, or look, John, there's your favorite comic character. Who is that?" And I knew the guy was talking to me, so I stopped, turned around, and looked at them. And I stood there, and the kid turned around, looked at me, got the biggest freaking smile on his face, and said, "That's Nightwing!" I mean, whether you like it or not, there are kids of all ages that are probably, or even more so, into anime and comics and what have you, just as much as we are. What are you gonna do? Have 2 separate cons, one for 18 and younger and one for 18 and older? No, it's too much of a hassle. Guys, whether you like it or not, you're going to have just to come and, how should I put this? You're going to have to come to the realization and just pretty much put up with the fact that when you go to a con, you're going to run into people who are not always have every inch of their body covered up in clothing when they're cosplaying something. And, sorry, I have my window open. Or when you go to a con, you're going to hear a few foul-mouthed people. You're just going to have to come to realize that and to accept that. It's too much of a hassle. To me, my personal belief, it'd be too much of a hassle to make pretty much two different cons. One for the young ones and one for the older ones. It's too much of a hassle. And in my opinion, to put it frank, it's stupid to do such a thing. Like I said, there are kids younger than you that are just as much into anime and comics, or even more so than you are, believe it or not. Like I said, cons should be enjoyed by all. They should not have an age restriction. They should not have separate cons for each age. Just one con enjoyed by all, and you're just going to suck it up and come to the realization that when I go to this con, when I bring my kid to this con, sometimes there are going to be people swearing. Sometimes there are going to be people in little to no clothing. Like I said, there's a few foul-mouthed people out there, and like I said, technically it isn't the cosplayer's fault. Just the person they like cosplaying, the way they were drawn, they don't have that much clothing on. You're just gonna have to accept that. And personally, if any con I go to, or go to in the future, ever puts an age restriction on, well let me say this. This part is, I guess you can say, for cons who are maybe catching on to some of the beef that people are having with maybe that you should put an age restriction limit to people that can come into the con, your con. If you ever put an age restriction limit to the age of people that can come into your con, I'm sorry, me personally, I'll stop going to your con altogether. Yes, I'm serious. Like I said, this is for the runners of the cons in general. If you ever put an age restriction limit to an age restriction limit to the people that are allowed into your con, me personally, I don't know about any of the ends, but me personally, I'll stop going because it's just retarded. It's stupid. And the people that are, bleeping about this, like I said, you're just... Sorry, like I said, windows open. Like I said, you're just gonna have to come to the realization that there are going to be foul-mouthed people there. There are going to be some things at a con you don't like, that you don't want your 5-year-old to hear. Or sometimes even see. But then again, that's everywhere you go. Even outside a con. You can take your kid to the grocery store and you'll probably hear one of the cashiers cursing. Or you'll see someone with pretty much spandex that hug their butts so tight you can see their thong. I mean, you see it out there in the real and in the outside world too, not just at a con. What are you gonna do? Put an age restriction limit to people walking outside too? Whether you like it or not. And I don't mean to sound rude. I'm seriously not. So I do apologize if I come across that way. But you're just going to have to suck it up. And just realize the fact that when you go to a con, there are going to be people that curse. There are going to be people that are not always fully clothed, and all that sorts. All right, plain and simple. And like I said, for the people who run cons, if you ever to the ones I go or eventually go to. If you ever put an age restriction limit to your cons, me personally, like I said, I don't know about any of you. Me personally, I'll stop going to the con altogether, because just for the simple fact that I think it's retarded that Iffians do that. Alright. Alright, well, I think I got my point across of what I wanted to talk about this episode of the Rant Show. Before I go, I do want to make one general announcement. In the beginning of June, I will be going to, I think it's I could be wrong about the dates, but I think it's June 5th through the 8th. I will be going to a con out in Sandusky, Ohio called Colossalcon. So if any of you see me there or you want to say hi or stuff, don't be shy. Come say hi. We'll take photos, whatever. I'm an open book. I'm the nicest guy in the world. Some people say too nice, but that's who I am. But I will be at Colossalcon, so if you want to come say hi, you're more than welcome to. And as always, I will be carrying around candy. I think this time I'm going to try to make like 25 or 30 like I did for KatsuCon, because that seems like a pretty good number. I was able to get rid of them all for KatsuCon. But I will be making candy and carrying them with me at Colossalcon. So if any of you want some candy, come up, say hi, and we'll trade candy or whatever. So I hope to see some of you at Colossalcon. Like I said, don't be afraid to come up and say hi if you want to. And just for anyone that's wondering what I will be cosplaying at Colossalcon, here it is.
We gotta rock. We gonna make it hot. Make it hot. You know this? We on a block. We on a block. We gotta rock. We gotta rock. We gonna make it hot. 점점 커지는 beat, 빨라지는 drum. 현란한 조명빛에 반짝이는 mirror ball. 시끄러운 무드비 춤추는 그녀. 천천히 다가가면 어디론가 사라져. Hey baby.